What's going on, Internet Shanghai 6, FrontDoorsGamer.com. Here we are with James Lantz from Klei Entertainment. Talk to me about Incognita.
Yeah, Incognita is a turn-based tactical espionage game. The idea is that whereas a lot of turn-based games are about combat, we want to tap into that same great stuff, but we want to make it more about information. It's a game about information. The other part of the game is that the whole thing is procedurally generated. So every time you play the game, it's a completely new level, a completely new set of shops and things you do and things you buy. The actual game itself is a short experience, but you won't beat it the first time. You won't beat it the second time. It's more a game about learning the system so you can get through it and beat the game.
I mean, most PAX demos are simple. I died, and I'm not usually. I love this game. Feels very much like Shadowrun meets XCOM, which awesome stuff, but apparently hard as hell. So is there any kind of scaling, or how does it work?
Yeah, the game is brutally hard right now. We're planning on tuning that down a little bit. What you played was probably a bit harder than the game will be at the beginning. But yeah, we do want to keep the game really difficult. We do want to make it a game about learning how to play rather than a game about progressing through content. So yeah, it will be difficult. There will be a lot of scaling, so it will get harder as you go into the game. What you played is probably a bit hard for a beginning level. It'd be more like a mid-game level.
Yeah, it was a little tricky, and the controls are definitely a little tactile. I was having trouble like figuring out where my agents could move and what they could do, but at the same time, I understand we're still in alpha right now, right?
Yeah, so it's pre-alpha right now. The controls are all work in progress. Yeah, okay. So it's as early as you can possibly be, I guess.
That's a pretty good-looking pre-alpha.
Thank you. Yeah, our artists are the best in the business. They're amazing.
Yeah, well, you Klei guys definitely have something going with the art style. I was going to think. So again, we're turn-based. What kind of things differentiate this from like XCOM?
So whereas XCOM is more about combat, our game is more about stealth and information. Like you saw in the game you played, like even a one-on-one against an agent and a guard is quite difficult.
Oh, yeah.
So unlike XCOM, you know, if you run up to a sectoid, you can take it out fairly easily. In this game, it's actually every movement is quite difficult. So the game is about the more options you have. So it's rather than just running and shooting and throwing grenades, you have a lot more options for how you play. You can sneak, you can knock people out, you can set up traps, you can do all these other options that we have planned for the beta as well, and distract guards and lead them to other places. So that's the more way we want to play. We want players to gather information and then deal with a situation in a creative way. Sometimes that way can be shooting people, but that's not the only viable strategy.
Not as creative, but it works. It's effective. Now, I was playing, I had a stealth agent and an engineer agent. Engineers can hack, stealth guys can be sneaky and move around quickly, but he only has a dart gun. My engineer only had a pistol. I got overwhelmed by 3 guards really quickly. What kind of things can... Is there any kind of combat option? Do you have a heavy or something like that where it's like, things have gone badly, we need to extract, get your submachine guns out, we need to beat feed?
So we want to be clear that we don't have a heavy class. So we have no machine guns, no like heavy machine guns. What we do have is a sniper class that you haven't seen. So he's more of a, as opposed to the heavy class, which we really want to avoid that role of a guy being really good at combat, right? But we do want a guy that's pinpoint that can support you in a way that the engineer and the stealth guy can't. So we have a sniper class, we have a sharpshooter, and he has a big sniper rifle. He was actually, in your game he was trapped and you almost rescued him. But yeah, if you get that guy, he's a lot better in combat than the other 2 guys. And he can run point on you for you basically. So he can't run and gun in the way that other heavy classes might be able to, but he can run point in a much better way than the stealth or the engineer guy can.
Now, you said it's procedurally generated content. Is there a single player campaign?
Yeah, so the single player campaign is what we're focusing on. That is the procedurally generated content. So it's the story. There is a linear story in the game. It's quite light because we don't want. If we want players to play this game over and over again to get good at it, we don't want players to have to sit through the same cutscenes over and over again. So the linear story is quite light, but what we do have is a ton of background atmosphere and depth. For anyone who wants to find it, there's story all over the world. So there are tons of secrets, and if you care about it, you can go out and search out and understand the world. And if you don't care about it, you can skip it all.
Now, one thing about this that is different from XCOM is the mainframe side of things, where you have a hacker sitting in a van somewhere off-site who is able to affect mechanical and electrical systems like computers and not turrets, but cameras in my case. Talk to us about that. How does that mechanic work?
Yeah, so the idea is that one of the ideas of the creativity and the options is that you have this your character is actually back in the HQ controlling the agents and then supporting them through this mainframe layer. Like you said, you can hack into cameras, hack into turrets, kind of turn the building security system against yourself. And because your agents on their own aren't as strong as maybe some other tactics games, you actually have to use those to support your agents in creative ways. And that's one of the ways to get through the level is to really be good at the hacking side of things.
And you're also timed on this. There's like a turn limit at 20 turns, or if you start killing guards, it increases the alarm level, things like that. At 20 turns, what happens now?
So at 20 turns in the current version, the alarm goes off and the guards start spawning in on the level. So it's not a lost condition. You can keep playing the level, but it does quite difficult. They spawn in, they start hunting for you. They don't know where you are immediately, but they know you're on that floor. That's something that we're experimenting with a little bit. It might not make it into the final game in its current form. We definitely want to give players who want to an option to build their characters so they can lower the alarm. So players who want to play patiently, we want to give them an option where, yeah, you can trade off a little bit of damage or a little bit of tankiness on your characters if you want to play slowly and have characters that can lower the alarm.
I like that idea, but the issue with that is, like, I got to the exit. You saw what happened. I got to the exit, and then there was that door, and I was like, oh, I got a key card. I can go through that door. I got my turn 10. I could probably swing. And you saw what happened. I got massacred. But it was definitely a risk versus reward situation where I was like, I felt I was running against the clock. So I was pushing forward like, all right, we got to move quickly. It's kind of a heist thing going on. If you're able to shut off the alarm system, it's kind of like, well, I'll just slowly take my time, Overwatch. But I guess you make your characters more squishy is what you're saying?
Right, so it would never be shutting off the alarm system. What it basically is for players who don't want to play that fast, right? Don't want that fast pace. So they would play a little bit slower. They'd be able to have items and options. You know, they could spend credits on items that would lower the alarm temporarily, and then it would still go back up. So we never want players to really have to play that way where they're inching forward, Overwatch, inching forward, Overwatch. We want to avoid that kind of gameplay.
Absolutely. Now, is that all 3 classes?
Those are the classes in the demo right now. We plan on having more in release.
All right, and I saw as I was finishing getting massacred, it said pre-alpha or alpha launching in late 2013. So you're almost ready to put something out on Steam?
Yeah, so the alpha is going to be out in about a month, I think. It's going to go out in Steam Early Access. So if you're interested in that, yeah, forums.kleientertainment.com or incognitagame.com will get you there. That's where the alpha is going to be. The alpha is definitely an alpha. So it's going to be similar to what you saw, a few more features, but it's going to be really for players who are interested in contributing to the development process and helping us out. And then the beta will be 2 or 3 months after that, and release is sometime in 2014.
Steam, I imagine, is this, any thoughts on consoles?
So we're not the only consoles right now. PC is the only confirmed platform, but we're thinking about OS X and Linux. We'd love to have them, but we can't promise they'll exist.
All right, well, very nice. James, Lantz, certainly appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to the game. I'm excited. That's my kind of cup of tea. So, kind of cup of, well, you get it. You get where I'm going. Anyway, Shanghai 6, Front Towards Gamer, out.